Hello, 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 hello. Welcome back to A Course in Miracles. Hey out there. I'm laughing to myself, as I often do. You may have noticed here on these videos, because to me, it's funny. It is. It's funny. It's funny, not funny, but it's funny. The way that we obstruct ourselves, the ways, I should say, the multiple ways that we get in our own way and make our lives difficult as human beings, where they don't need to be difficult at all. So I find myself laughing, and you may or may not incorporate a healthy dose of humor into your own spiritual practice. So, what are the benefits of that? I had no intention of talking about this, but here it comes, right? What are the benefits of that, of a sense of humor? Well, laughter is beautiful medicine. It is. It's some of the Holy Spirit's best medicine. It is a higher vibrational state that you can reach for. It means that, okay, I may be taking my spiritual practice seriously, just as you might take a job responsibility, a career responsibility, parenting seriously. Yeah, sure, of course, yes, but not too seriously. The ability to laugh at ourselves as we fall on our faces is healthy. I mean, yes, we don't wish to keep falling on our faces, but this is what happens when we're in two worlds, so to speak. You can't actually be in two worlds, but we feel torn in this human existence, do we not? We feel torn between God and the ego. Can't have both. We know in our hearts that we can't have both, and the Course tells us that we can't have both, and we know that, right? We know that, yet in attempting to keep certain vestiges of the ego intact, certain things that we've glommed onto, that we've made our identity, yeah, we identify with, yeah, well, we attempt to keep certain things and we withhold certain illusions for ourselves rather than bringing them all to the truth, 100%. This is what the atonement is in A Course in Miracles. It's a very interesting word that conjures up all kinds of different things in common parlance. However, in A Course in Miracles, it's bringing our illusions to the truth. This is the Holy Spirit's function, is the atonement. And we accept this for ourselves. We bring illusions to the truth, yet that is our task here. And we allow ourselves to get in the way of that by wanting to keep things, wanting to keep certain little pieces of identity. Yeah. I'm segueing directly into lesson 203, by the way. Like the body, that is one of these little things, identification points that we allow to get in the way of the direct experience of God, which is who we are. We think we're this thing, this compound body of flesh and blood. And yes, we did hear this yesterday and the day before, and we're going to hear it for the next 17 lessons until the saying, I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me, gets ingrained into the very fabric of your being, which is the point of all of these exercises. Yeah. Why else would we repeat it? I invite you not to fall prey to the cultural and somehow culturally accepted norm of saying, oh, didn't we just see this yesterday? Oh my God, that's so old. We've already said that. You know that voice. You know that voice. Maybe it's very active right now in your mind. Well, we need to hear things over and over again. The reason we need to hear that we're not a body, that we are free, for we are still as God created us, is because we don't believe it. Yeah? That's why the repetition. Ego does not wish for us to accept this truth. So we reinforce it to such time as we bring all of our illusions, including the illusion of being a physical body and having that constitute us, bring that to the truth. The light shines it away. And the ego tells us that's death is death. Well, to the ego, sure. Ego doesn't exist. You are not a body. And you are free. So, as with all of these exercises in the review period here that we're in the midst of, we sit with the idea, you are not a body, okay? The idea, verbatim, I am not a body. I am free, for I am still as God created me. Allow this to permeate your entire being. Allow this to be the one thing, if nothing else, that sticks in your mind when this period of time is over and done with, when this season of your life in which you went through the workbook for students is done. As continuing on, assuming that you continue on, you'll reach lesson 365. And then you'll realize, oh, well, on paper, it looks like I've finished. Yeah, it's when you realize the work's just starting. You may choose to do it again after that. And this is a very formative, deliberately placed section of the workbook. So we sit with the idea, I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. And then the review lesson for the day is lesson 183. I call upon God's name and on my own. Quite simply, I call upon God's name and on my own. Same. God's name is your name. You know this. You are aware of this deep down. You have always been aware of this deep down. This may have occurred at many different junctures in your life where you had an inkling. Yes, an inclination, a sense, a feeling that there's something more, that you are something more than a compound body of flesh and blood and bones, 80% water. When you think about it that way, does it make you feel solid? I don't know. Shouldn't make you feel solid in any way to know that this body, this communication mechanism, is 80% water. And yes, it does not last. Why does it not last? It's not real. It's not who you are. You are not a body. You are free, for you are still as God created you. Period. This is the literal truth. When you call upon God's name and all of the inherent joy, happiness, power, and strength, know that you call upon your own name. They are one and the same, and deep in your being, you know that. So we invite you to reach for this today. Reach for this today by sitting quietly and contemplating this idea. You call upon your own name when you call upon the name of God. Any invocation of God or your guides is, in fact, invoking your higher self, capital S. Your name and God's name are one. One. One is indivisible. It is not subject to the artificial divisions and fractionations of this world. It is not subject to different layers. It's not subject to different gradations. One does not mean two. It does not mean 8 billion. Does it? It's one, whole, forever whole, and this wholeness has never gone away. It simply is, and it never will go away. It simply is in the present moment, which is the only moment that exists. It simply is. So we have work to do. Isn't that right? There's work to be done in allowing. I want to wrap up with this because it's really so important. This is a process of undoing. Spirituality looks like this, doesn't it? The Course describes what we would consider personal growth, personal transformation, as removing barriers, removing a veil or parting clouds, so to speak, removing the obstacles to our awareness of love's presence in our lives. In other words, removing the obstacles to our experience of who we really are. That's the work. Yeah, that's the work. Is a series of removals. It's like cleaning off a mirror or parting clouds, lifting a veil. Whatever visual works for you is the one that you should certainly employ in your daily life, because it's very, very helpful. I mean, if you are a visual storyteller yourself, and I know a number of you are, that this can be really helpful to see yourself, to envision yourself as parting clouds or lifting a veil or a series of veils or peeling an onion. Yeah. That's one that's common in world spirituality and very, very appropriate. Yeah. Yeah. And in these practices, we sit with the idea that we're not a body, because we're not. And deep down, we all know this. We've had this inkling. We've had this intuitive hit that there's more to it than that. I mean, clearly there is, or you wouldn't be watching this. There's so much other garbage out there on social media, on YouTube. I mean, anybody, myself included, can simply plug in a microphone, which I've got off here, turn on a nice light, cheap ring light that they bought on Amazon that works, and turn on a camera and begin to speak. Anybody can do that. I'm doing it right now. See, that proves anybody can do it, right? So why are you watching this? That's always, as the teacher, that's always something that I want to know. It's fun to ask, why am I watching this instead of something else? There are a lot of really, really cute videos of cats and dogs and puppies and baby sheep. Yeah, there's all kinds of other content on YouTube and TikTok and what have you. God knows, every time you look down and look back up, there are 8 new social media platforms right there for your viewing distraction. Notice I didn't say viewing pleasure, but viewing distraction, right? There's always something. So there's a reason why you're drawn to this material. Yeah, there is a reason, and that reason has got to be that something deep within you resonates to the core, to the very core of your being with this truth that you are not a body, because you're not. I'm not, you're not, we're not. It's not who we are. So something to contemplate today and every day. And we'll see this again throughout this review period. Thank God, literally, yeah, your own name, because we need it. All right, we'll see you next time.